Morning everybody. It's been all of 12 hours since I last did a video, so that was just a little wind up for one of my friends in Manitowoc about me not doing one for a while. First up, there was an excellent video I watched this morning by Eric Ose, and in it he tackles the very thorny subject of Zellner's latest filings, in which she identifies some other Denny possible suspects. Personally, I've always been of the opinion that this case is in some ways very simple. It's just a case of applying Occam's razor. Occam's razor says that the solution to any problem is nearly always the simplest one. My take on this is motives. Okay, maybe Ryan Hilgers was a jilted lover, as they say, somebody who was a bit jealous. Maybe that there's also the fact that somebody in the caravan next to Stephen watched pornography or stuff like that, but that still doesn't, in my mind, make the motive that the state had. The state had the biggest motive of all. They were set to not only have to fork out a lot of money. There's been speculation as to how much. 36 million was the starting figure. It could have been settled for less. In fact, obviously it was ultimately settled for 400,000, but it was going to be worth somewhere between 4 and 7 million, and because they didn't like Steve Avery, it's as simple as that. They weren't going to give Stephen Avery $7 million. That, you know, that the public outcry would have been huge against that, and it's going to be this time round, obviously, when the settlement is going to be considerably more than that. The state had the motive, and it was, as I say, far too convenient for Manitowoc Sheriff's Office, and in particular their retired Sheriff Thomas Kasurak and their former District Attorney Dennis Vogel. It was far too convenient that Teresa disappeared just a couple of weeks before they were due to go and be grilled by Kelly and Glynn. So I do wonder very much about how that plan to frame Avery came about, and what circumstances led to other circumstances, and what pressures were brought to bear on various individuals. One of the things that's always stuck in my mind was, as I say, Teresa's brother Mike Holbeck using the term the grieving process, when at that time it was only a missing person investigation. Clearly he knew something and was told something. But I also read a very interesting article this morning in the to do with the latest Kathleen Zellner filings, and there was an interesting line where the writer, I'm sorry, so I forget your name. He talks about the case as being like an onion, which for fans of Shrek immediately reminds us of that conversation. It's like an onion, and oh, you mean it stinks? No, it's got layers. Well, on this occasion, yes, it is exactly like an onion. It does stink, and there are layers to it. As you peel each layer back, it stinks even more. But as I say, for me, it's only going to head one way. It's going to head right up to the head of the office of the general attorneys. Now, one of the things I do know about Hermann is that even though he has ignored me in the past, sometimes for quite a long time, I know that he reads my messages, and he'll watch these videos, because unfortunately for him, I absolutely believe that the state don't trust him very much. They feel he's a bit of a loose cannon, and could go off at any time. Hopefully he will. I'm sure he's kept in the dark. I'm not too sure whether his continued staying on side with the state is a sense of honour, or whether he's been threatened. But Robert, I know that you'll watch this, and you know, if not as a friend, but as an enemy. You know, you once wrote to me that you were confident in the integrity of the investigation. Robert, that has been completely and utterly destroyed. That was one of the biggest pieces of rubbish you've ever written to me. There is no integrity in that investigation whatsoever. You are a professional law enforcement officer. You know as well as anybody how poor that investigation. You know the purpose of that investigation. I believe you know quite a bit about how Stephen Avery was framed. And please do it for yourself, and do it for the people of Manitowoc, the people that you serve. Go from zero on this to hero on this with just one small phone call to Kathleen Zellner. That's all it's going to take. Please do the right thing.